you tempted me to expand. Keep my thoughts to myself, outside of me, and may hurt someone else. I feel like I'm rich cause I have a different weight. I just find wealth. They say, man, we loving your style. I just fall to the flow. They say, John, you on top of your game. But I'm not the one keeping slow. All praises to the most high, all praises to the only one who made this simple man to escape his cages. The truth gonna be growing. We not even on the same stages no more. Doing work for the Father. We can't even compare our ways no more. Just trying to be the light, but I guess it's too bright. Yeah, they got them all blinded. Truth all around if you really want truth. It's not hard to find. Yeah. I'm just trying to keep it together. I'm just trying to keep it together. Out here with the fam, trying to make them more conscious. You talking big deals, but all you spend is nonsense. The God that you serve in the middle of a purge, you'll probably switch rulers. No dry shots, there's living waters. Real talk, shout out to real Judas. Walking like the Messiah, that'll keep your faith strong. They want down in the cage, that's face off. Over here we face on and I take on. Anything on my plate that I had to place on. But my appetite on.
Shalom, shalom, shalom.
Shalom, shalom.
One Nation Israelite School. I'm teacher Judea.
Shalom, I'm Officer Solomon Head, the One Nation Israelite School.
Yeah, and we are One Nation Israelite School. All right, today we're gonna touch a little bit of history, touch the topic, the split between the nation of Israel. We're gonna get some clarity because a lot of people get confused, especially in the Church of Christianity, where they teach when the scriptures say something that salvation was made open until everybody, right? So today we come to rebuke the lies and bring forth the history that will help our people understand what this was talking about. It wasn't talking about salvation for everybody. Okay. So with that, come over a little bit more, brother, because you're barely in the camera. All right. So with that, we're going to get right into it. We're not going to try to go too deep into it, but we're going to get you enough for you to understand what it's talking about. All right. So with that, let's get right into it. Let's hit the school slogan real quick.
Luke chapter 2, verse 49.
Luke chapter 2, verse 49.
And he said unto them, how is it that you sought me? Wist ye not that I must be about my Father's business?
Christ was telling his own mother and his own father in the flesh that he must be about his Father's business, the Father that sits in the kingdom, the Almighty. So likewise with us, when we come into the truth, we find out who we are, we start applying, we start learning, we're supposed to go out and be about our Father's business, not only in word, but in deed. Okay, so with that, we're gonna get into this thing. When the scriptures say, first of all, let's do Galatians 3:28 really quick. Galatians chapter 3, verse 28.
Galatians chapter 3 and verse 28. And it says, there is neither Jew nor Greek. There is neither bond nor free. There is neither male nor female. For ye are all one in Jesus Christ.
So we all one in Yahweh. So when some people hear that scripture, they would take it and say, see, Greeks, Gentiles, everybody get in, because they don't understand the history. That's why I say in Christianity, I don't get how you can open up the book to the New Testament and think you understand everything that was written. You don't know what happened at the beginning for why these scriptures say what they say.
True.
Right? Like when they say now Gentiles, because it says, give me that real quick. Give me Acts 28:28.
Acts chapter 28 and verse 28. And it says, be it known, therefore, unto you that the salvation of God is sent unto the Gentiles, and that they will hear it.
So they will read that scripture. See, the Gentiles could be saved now. The Gentiles could be saved, not understanding what that is actually talking about. And who are the Gentiles that this was referring to? Okay, so let's get right into it then. Let's break it down. So for us to understand who the Gentiles are that this scripture that the Bible is talking about, that salvation has come to, we must go back to the beginning. Let's go to let's start from the beginning then. Let's go to 1 Kings chapter 12. We're gonna start at verse 1.
1 Kings chapter 12 and verse 1. And Rehoboam went to Shechem, for all Israel will come to Shechem to make him king. And it come to pass when Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, who was yet in Egypt, heard of it, for he was fled from the presence of King Solomon.
Hold on. 1 Kings chapter 12, verse 1, going down to verse 3.
Verse 3?
Yeah.
All right. The presence of King Solomon and Jeroboam dwelt in Egypt, that they sent and called him, and Jeroboam and all the congregation of Israel came and spake unto Rehoboam, saying,
Okay, so what happened is Jeroboam came with the northern kingdom. They came to Solomon's son, King Rehoboam. Okay, this is what was said when they came to him. Come on.
our yoke grievous. Now therefore make thou the grievous service of thy father, and his heavy yoke which he put upon us lighter, and we will serve thee.
So what they were saying was, because Solomon, he said your father made our yokes grievous, whatever. What happened was Solomon's put taxes on the people so that they could build a temple. So they was coming to Rehoboam like, hey man, you know your dad made it grievous on us. You know what I'm saying? If you could lighten up our yoke, you know what I'm saying, we'll serve you forever. Okay, now let's read on.
And he said unto them, depart yet for 3 days. They come again to me, and the people departed.
So Rehoboam told them, hey man, y'all leave and come back in 3 days, because he needed to go seek counsel. He had to go talk to the old wise men. Right? All right, so read on.
And King Rehoboam consulted with the old man that stood before Solomon his father while he...
Hold on. Read that part again.
And King Rehoboam consulted with the old man that stood before Solomon his father.
Stood before Solomon. So with King Solomon being the wisest man to ever walk, right? Wisest king ever ruled. He even had counsel.
Yeah, true.
All right, so read that again.
And King Rehoboam consulted with the old man that stood before Solomon his father while he yet lived, and said, how do you advise that I may answer this people? So
he went and got counsel. Okay, this is what the old man told him. Come on.
And they spake unto him, saying, if thou wilt be a servant unto this people this day, and wilt serve them, and answer them, and speak good words to them, then they will be thy servant forever.
So the old man gave him wise counsel. He said, if you be a servant to these people, and they will be and serve them, they will be thy servant forever. So they advised him according to Christ. Let's get that, just in case some people don't understand it. What did Christ say? Give me Matthew 23 and 11. So what did Christ say?
Matthew chapter 23 and verse 11. But he that is greater among you shall be your servant.
Right. So when the men counsel him wisely according to what Christ said himself. Yep. Right. He is greatest among you shall be servants. Right. All right. So now let's go back to 1 Kings and let's pick up where we stopped.
Verse 8.
So they told him what it was, right? But he forsook the counsel.
Yeah.
And that's what we're finna find out. Come on.
But he forsook the counsel of the old man, which they had given him, and consulted with the young men that were grown up with him.
So they told him the wise thing, and he was like, nah, I'm good on that. You know what I'm saying? So then what he does, he goes to the young man who probably ain't got no experience whatsoever, got a foolish statement or something for him, and he went and took counsel to see what he had to say. Come on.
And which stood before him. And he said unto them, what counsel give you that we may answer this people who have spoken to me, saying, make the yoke which thy father did put upon us lighter?
So he asked the young man who had no experience, because he did not, because he forsook the counsel of the older wise men, right? They told him, hey man, you make the burden light. If you work with these people, they'll be your servants forever. He that was grievous to him. Nah, I'm straight. Let me go ask my homeboy. You know what I'm saying, who ain't got no experience at this whatsoever. So the homeboy told him, hey man, come on.
And the young man that were grown up with him spake unto him, saying, thus shalt thou speak that speak unto thee, saying, thy father made our yoke heavy, but make thou it lighter unto us. Thus shalt thou say unto them, my little finger shall be thicker than my father's loins.
So in other words, he telling them, hell with y'all, we're gonna make it harder.
Wow.
Watch, you're gonna see, read on.
And now, whereas my father did lie you with heavy yoke, I will add to your yoke. My father have chastened you with whips, but I will chasten you with scorpions.
So he forsook the counsel of the older men and went to the younger man who had no experience. And the younger man said, hey man, tell them whatever and make their yoke harder. All right. So now let's see who counsel he decided to roll with. Come on.
So Jeroboam and all the people came to Rehoboam the third day.
So they came back the third day as commanded,
as the king had appointed, saying, come to me again the third day.
Come on.
And the king answered the people roughly and forsook the old man's counsel that they gave him.
So he came off rude. What? He came off rude because he forsook the counsel of the older man and he took the counsel of the younger man. All right, now watch this. Come on.
Inspect to them after the counsel of the young man.
So he took the young man's counsel. Instead of serving the people, he decided to be harsher to the people. Come on.
Saying, my father made your yoke heavy, and I will add to your yoke. My father also chastened you with whips, but I will chasten you with scorpions. Wherefore the king hearkened not unto the people, for the cause was from the Lord.
Yep. So he forsook the counsel of the old man and he decided to make their yokes harder. But this was all according to the Most High. It was all according to the Most High. Read that piece again. He forsook the counsel. Read that part again.
Where the king hearkened not unto the people, for the cause was from the Lord.
Because it was all of the Most High. It had already been written that the split was going to happen. We're going to touch it a little later. But now let's read on down to verse 15. People, it was the Lord's plan. Okay, read on. Read 15 again.
Okay. Wherefore the king hearkened not unto the people, for the cause was from the Lord, that he might perform his saying, which the Lord spake by Isaiah the Shilonite unto Jeroboam the son of Nebat.
Because what happened was the Most High was going to rent the kingdom from Solomon because of the sins. He was still but he was still going to leave a portion of it for David's sake, right? But he was going to give the other kingdom to Jeroboam, which is, I want to make sure because I know the name sound familiar. Yeah. Jeroboam is who became the king of the northern kingdom, and Rehoboam was southern kingdom. He was actual king at the time. So let's read verse. So he made it harder, right? He made it harder on them. Okay, so now what happened after that? Read on.
So when all Israel saw that the king hearkened not unto them, the people answered the king, saying, what proportion have we in David? Neither have we inheritance in the son of Jesse.
Come on.
to your tents. O Israel, now see to thy own house. David, so Israel departed unto their tents.
So there was a split. They split. The northern kingdom went their way. Judah and the southern kingdom stayed where they was at. All right. That was end of 17.
Well, that was 16.
Read 17 for me. It's going to talk about this. Come on.
All right. But as for the children of Israel, which dwelt in the cities of Judah, Rehoboam reigned over them. All right. That's the end of 17.
All right. So jump to 24.
Verse 24. Thus saith the Lord, ye shall not go up, nor fight against your brethren, the children of Israel.
So what happened was when they split and went their ways, Rehoboam was about to go up and fight the northern kingdom. But God said, no, this is of me. The split that just happened, this is of me. Don't go fight your brethren. All right. So read verse 24.
Thus saith the Lord, ye should not go up, nor fight against your brethren, the children of Israel. Return every man to his house, for this thing is from me. They hearken therefore to the word of the Lord, and return to depart according to the word of the Lord.
All right. So we're going to read on 25 and 26.
Then Jeroboam built Shechem and Mount Ephraim, and dwelt therein, and went out from thence.
Right. So that's into 25.
And built Peniel.
Come on.
Right. And Jeroboam said in his heart, now shall.
Okay, that's it. Verse 25. So that was talking about the king when they split the northern kingdom. He built cities.
Mm-hmm.
King Jeroboam, which is the king of the northern kingdom, he built cities. All right. Now read 26.
Right. And Jeroboam said in his heart, now shall the kingdom return to the house of David.
So, now this is where it starts to trip. This is where he started to bug out at. He was in his heart, he was afraid that if the people went back to Jerusalem, they would go back to serve Rehoboam. Now you're gonna read it. Watch, come on, we're gonna go to read 26 and 27.
And Jeroboam said in his heart, now shall the kingdom return to the house of David. If this people go up to do sacrifice in the house of the Lord at Jerusalem, then shall the heart of this people turn again unto their Lord, even unto Rehoboam, king of Judah, and they shall kill me and go again to Rehoboam, king of Judah.
All right, so what happened was he was afraid that if the people went to okay, I'm gonna break it from the beginning. Jeroboam in the northern kingdom went up to Rehoboam, the king of Judah, which was the ruling king at the time. They asked, could he make the yoke lighter, because Solomon started taxing the people to have the temple built.
Yeah.
Rehoboam told Jeroboam and the northern kingdom to come back in 3 days. They came. Meanwhile, while they went off, he went to seek counsel from the people who used to counsel his father. They gave him wise counsel. He forsook it. He went to a younger man with no experience. The younger man told him to do opposite of what the wise men told him to do. He went with that decision. So he made it harder on the people. So when they found out he wasn't going to work with them, he wasn't going to hearken, they split. They went their own ways. Northern kingdom went one way. The kingdom of Israel, Judah, the southern kingdom stayed where they were at. So then, as we go on, Jeroboam and the northern kingdom, they built cities for where they were dwelling at, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then, once he built the cities, this is where we at now, to this point. Jeroboam, king of the northern kingdom, in his heart, in his mind, he thought and got afraid and said that, you know what, if these people go back to Jerusalem to sacrifice, they're going to return to Rehoboam and serve him again. Mm-hmm. And then they may kill me. That was his fear in his own heart, that the people would go back to Israel, go back to Jerusalem to sacrifice, and then they'll go back under Rehoboam, and then they may kill him. That was all in his own mind. Now, why was he worried about that? Because what was the law? 3 times a year, yeah. Every male had to return. Let's get that really, really quick for those who don't know. Deuteronomy 16 and 16.
Deuteronomy chapter 16 and verse 16. 3 times in a year shall all thy males appear before the Lord thy God. in the place where he shall chose, in the feast of unleavened bread, and in the feast of weeks, and in the feast of tabernacles, and they shall not appear before the Lord.
Right. So 3 times a year, all males was required to show up before the Lord to do sacrifices in Jerusalem. But he was afraid that if they went back to Jerusalem, that they would start, they would go back under Rehoboam and then eventually kill him.
Yeah.
All right. So what did we stop? What verse was that?
We started at 27. I mean, we read 27, so now we're at 28.
Okay. See, I'm gonna tell you another reason why that was fear, because in Jerusalem, as commanded, he was afraid they would go up and return to Rehoboam and kill him, because the Levites kept the laws and would not sacrifice unless you was in Jerusalem. Plus, at this time, the Levites were scattered throughout all the tribes of Israel. They wasn't just in the kingdom of Judah. They wasn't just in the southern kingdom at this time. And let's prove who was in the kingdom of let's prove who was in Judah at that time. We're gonna go back to I believe it's verse. Let me see. Go back to 23 real quick.
23. Speak unto Rehoboam, the son of Solomon, king of Judah, and unto all the house of Judah and Benjamin, and to the remnant of the people, saying.
So at that time, it was only Judah and Benjamin, and the remnant of the people who didn't jump up and leave with the northern kingdom that was dwelling in Judah at that time. All right. Now, will you read 23 again so it can be clear?
All right. Speak unto Rehoboam, the son of Solomon, king of Judah, and unto all the house of Judah and Benjamin, and to the remnant of the people, saying.
So now, when you think about that, now where was Levi? Where was Levi in? Right. Let's get it real quick. Where was Levi and how did they get there? Let's go to 2 Chronicles 13 and 9.
2 Chronicles chapter 13 and verse 9.
I'm just showing y'all things as we going. Don't lose sight of what I'm going to show you. All right.
Have ye not cast out the priests of the Lord, the sons of Aaron, and the Levites, and have made you priests after the manner of the nation of other lands, so that whosoever cometh to consecrate himself with a young bullock and 7 rams, the same may be a priest of them that are no God.
So Jeroboam cast them out and made priests. Give me verse 10 and 11.
But as for you, the Lord is our God, and we have not forsaken him. And the priests which minister unto the Lord are the sons of Aaron, and the Levites wait upon their business. And they burn unto the Lord every morning and every evening burnt sacrifices and sweet incense. The showbread also set they in order upon the pure table, and the candlesticks of gold with the lamp thereof, to burn every evening. For we kept the charge of the Lord our God, but ye have forsaken him.
All right. So now let's go to 2 Chronicles chapter 11, verse 14.
2 Chronicles chapter 11, verse 14. For the Levites left their suburbs and their possession.
So what happened is he was afraid. He was afraid that the Levites would tell you, hey, you got to go to Jerusalem to do the sacrificing. You got to go back to Jerusalem. So he made priests of the lowly people, right? All right. And because of that, the Levites left their habitations because Jeroboam stopped them from executing the priest's office. And I'm sorry. Read verse 14.
And came to Judah and Jerusalem, for Jeroboam and his sons had cast them off from executing the priest's office.
So that's the reason they left. All right. But it said he stopped them from executing the priest's office. How did he do that? Go back to 1 Kings chapter 12, verse 28.
1 Kings chapter 12 and verse 28.
Pay attention now, because you pay attention, because if you doze off, you're gonna get lost. You can't sleep in this one right here. You better be paying full attention. All right. So he stopped them from, he stopped the Levites from executing the priest's office. How did he do that? We're going to read it now. Let's go to 1 Kings 12:28.
Whereupon the king took counsel and made 2 calves of gold and said unto them, it is too much for you to go up to Jerusalem.
See, he was being wicked. He said, he made what?
He made 2 calves of gold.
He made 2 calves of gold to sacrifice to, right?
Yeah.
And then he said, what did he say? Come on.
And said unto them, it is too much for you to go up to Jerusalem.
So like, don't worry about going to Jerusalem because it's too much. You know, it's too much to go way up to Jerusalem. So he made 2 golden calves. That's what?
Oh, that's idolatry.
Right. Come on.
All right. It is too much for you to go up to Jerusalem.
Now, let me touch something, because what is the law if you have too much to carry? Right. Let's get that for those who not sure really quick. Let's go to Deuteronomy 14, verse 24 through 26.
Right. Deuteronomy chapter 14. You said in
14, give me verse 24.
Okay. Deuteronomy chapter 14 and verse 24. And if the way be too long for thee, so that thou art not able to carry it, or if the place be too far from thee, which the Lord thy God shall choose to set his name there, when the Lord thy God hath blessed thee, then shalt thou turn it into money, and bind up the money in thy hand, and shalt go unto the place which the Lord thy God shall choose.
So you're supposed to sell that stuff, get the money, and go when you got closer to Jerusalem, or to the place that to Jerusalem. When you got closer to Jerusalem, what was you supposed to do with that money? Come on.
And thou shalt bestow that money for whatsoever thy soul lusteth after.
You're supposed to buy back the things you sold. Come on.
For oxen, or for sheep, or for wine, or for strong drink, or for whatsoever thy soul desires.
All right. So now let's go back to verse 28 in 1 Kings.
Verse 28. Whereupon the king took counsel and made 2 calves of gold and said unto them, it is too much for you to go up to Jerusalem. Behold thy gods, O Israel, which brought thee up out of the land of Egypt.
So what did he just take them into?
Idolatry.
He just took them into idolatry. Right? All right. I'm hoping y'all paying attention, because did you catch what I just brought up?
Yeah.
Okay. So now we're showing you how they went into idolatry. They split. He stopped the priests. He stopped the Levites from executing the priest's office because he was afraid they was going to tell them they had to go to Jerusalem to sacrifice, which was the law, which was commanded.
Yeah.
And then he figured if they went to Jerusalem, the people would go back under Rehoboam and eventually come back and kill him. So he built 2 golden calves, told them to sacrifice into that. Don't worry about going to Jerusalem because it's too far. And he said, these are the gods. Went right into idolatry, right? All right. So now, with that being said, let's read on real quick. It's gonna get good. Right. Right. Come on, watch this.
And he set the one in Bethiel, and the other put he in Dan. And this thing became a sin, for the people went to worship before the one, even unto Dan. And he made a house of high places, and made priests of the lowest of the people,
that were not Levites,
which were not of the sons of Levi.
So they weren't Levites. He just made them priests, and they were sacrificing to what? To the golden calves, to the 2 gold calves, which is idolatry. All right. Now, it became a sin because they went into idolatry. Read verse. What verse were you at when I stopped you?
I was at verse 32.
Okay, so read 32 and 33 for me one more time.
And Jeroboam ordained a feast.
No, as a fact, read verse 30 and then jump back to 32.
All right. And this thing became a sin, for the people went to worship before the one, even unto Dan.
Because they went into idolatry. That's why I say it became sin. All right, so jump down to 32.
And Jeroboam ordained a feast in the 8th month, the 15th day of the month, like unto the feast that's in Judah. And he offered up upon the altar So did he in Bethuel, sacrificing up the calves that he had made.
Hmm.
And he placed in Bethuel the priests of the high places which he had made.
All right. So that was 33.
I know. So he offered upon the altar which he had made in Bethuel the 15th day of the 8th month, even in the month which he had devised of his own heart, and ordained a feast unto the children of Israel. And he offered up upon the altar and burnt incense.
So he's in full blown idolatry now. The northern kingdom is in full blown idolatry now. Okay. As you read on about the northern kingdom, they went on into many wicked kings because they was all going into idolatry. That's just my okay. So let's go. I'm trying to figure out how to put it from here. Okay, Hosea. So the Most High told Hosea to go get a wife of the whoredom and go have children. Each child would mean something. Okay, so we know that when it's saying go to the whoredom, it's not talking about actual whore, but because we was in whoredom as in what adultery with the Most High, because what we started serving other gods.
It was idolatry.
Right. So I'm hoping I'm not losing them. Did I make that clear?
It was clear.
Okay, so the northern kingdom went into full blown idolatry, and they got into more and more wickedness as you read their history, because every king was going into idolatry. Now, the Most High told the prophet Hosea to go get a wife of whoredom. Why was it considered whoredom? Because of the fact that they had committed adultery on the Most High by going into serving other gods. Okay, so he told Hosea to go and get a wife of whoredom and have children with them, and each child would be a similitude, meaning it would have a meaning. All right, so now let's go to Hosea chapter 1, verse 4.
Hosea chapter 1 and verse 4. And the Lord said unto him, call his name Jezreel, for yet a little while, and I will avenge the blood of Jezreel upon the house of Jehu.
Okay, so that's verse 4. It says the first child name would be Jezreel. I'm sorry, Jezreel. And in a little while he would cause the house to cease in the northern kingdom of Israel. All right, verse 5 and 6.
And it shall come to pass at that day that I will break the bow of Israel in the valley of Jezreel. And she conceived again and bare a daughter.
This is the second child. Pronounce it Larohama.
All right. And God said unto him, call her name Larohmaha, for I will no more have mercy upon the house of Israel, but I will utterly take them away.
So what you better understand is, now what you got to keep in your mind, this is Hosea telling them this. I will no more have mercy, but I will utterly take them away. Come on.
But I will have mercy upon the house of Judah, and will save them by the Lord their God, and will not save them by bow.
So I'm going to save the house of Judah.
Nor by sword, nor by battle, by horse, nor by horsemen.
All right, so come on, we're going to verse 8 and 9.
Now when she had weaned Lo-Raham, she conceived and bare a son. Then said God, call his name Lo-Ammi. Y'all messed that up good. Lo-Ammi, for ye are not my people, and I will not be your God.
Hold on. So what did the Most High just tell all of the northern kingdom?
For ye are not my people, and I will not be your God.
Okay, so when it says that, well, now we touch, what are you considered if you are no longer God's people?
A Gentile.
A Gentile. Let's read Gentile out the Bible dictionary real quick.
That was a clear cut right there. Man. I hope this be the last we hear this, but we got some rebellious people in the nation of Israel.
Right. So they went into idolatry. They was full blown. He told the prophet Hosea, go into take a wife of the wife of whoredom. One of them who done went into idolatry, bear children with them, and each child would mean something. Okay. Now it comes out. He tells the child, under this child, he said, these people will no longer be my people, and I will no longer be their God, which makes you a Gentile. Now, that's key, because every time we read something about the Gentiles, everybody all of a sudden, the Christianity church teaches that means everybody now. But if you're not considered a child of God, if you're not considered God's people anymore, what are you considered in? A Gentile. So let's read the definition of Gentile real quick.
I forgot where it started. Now this one says, but I am is the ordinary term for Israel. Usually means a non-Israelite people.
No, hold on. Always. Read it again. Read it again.
Right. But am is the ordinary term for Israel. Usually means a non-Israelite people.
No, always.
Non-Israelite people.
Let me catch what I'm saying. Gentiles, okay. It says, times he's doing translation. Sometimes refers to Israel. Okay, let's get to the definition. KJV is, but am is the ordinary term for Israel. Usually means, that not always, usually, not always, usually means a non-Israelite people. All right, so when you read in the scriptures and it says the word Gentile, it's not literally always talking about the heathens. Sometimes it means an Israelite that's living in the fashions of the Greeks, or whoever the people you scattered amongst that are not the people of the Most High God. So when we read the word Gentile, it doesn't always mean the true heathens. Sometimes it's referring to wicked Israelites. All right. So let's go back to verse 8. Let's read verse 9 one more time.
Hosea?
Yeah.
All right. Verse 9. And then said God, call his name Lo-Ami, for ye are not my people, and I will not be your God.
So the Most High said that to all the northern kingdom, you will no longer be my people. You are no longer my people. And I am not your God. So this is what was happening in the northern kingdom. When you go back to Hosea chapter 4, verse 1, go to Hosea chapter 4, verse 1.
Hosea chapter 4 and verse 1. And the Lord said unto him, call his name Jezreel. Jezreel. For yet a little while, and I will avenge the blood of Jezreel upon the house of Judah, and will cause to cease the kingdom of the house of Israel.
That's 4:1.
Yeah, Hosea 4:1.
Okay. No truth, no mercy, nor knowledge. Okay. So hold on. Read that again, because something ain't right.
All right.
Mr. wrote the wrong scripture.
And the Lord said unto him, call his name Jezreel, for yet a little while, and I will avenge the blood of Jezreel upon the house of Judah, and will cause to cease the kingdom of the house of Israel.
Okay, so read 2.
You said read 2?
Verse 2.
The beginning of the word of the Lord by Hosea. And the Lord said,
hold on. Are you at chapter 4?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was just saying, I know that something ain't right.
I'm
Chapter
sorry.
4, verse 1. That's what's going on.
Hear the word of the Lord, ye children of Israel. For the Lord hath a controversy with the inhabitants of the land, because there is no truth, nor mercy, nor knowledge of God in the land.
Okay, so there was no truth, no mercy, nor knowledge of God in the land. Because when you read the history of the northern kingdom, it became full of all kinds of treachery. You know what I'm saying? You had kings that only ruled for a couple months because their servants would kill them and they would take the king's spot. You would have two kings. It was a split inside of the split.
That's
You know what I'm
crazy.
saying? This dude would be a king, this dude would be a king, and they would rise up and eventually one would kill the other. They went into all kind of madness. They turned into wild men. All right. So now let's read verse 2 through 5.
Verse 2. By swearing and lying and killing and stealing and committing adultery, they break out, and blood touches the blood. Therefore shall the land mourn, and everyone that dwelleth therein shall languish, with the beasts of the field and with the fowls of heaven. Yea, the fishes of the sea also shall be taken away. Yet let no man strive nor reprove another.
So what it was saying is y'all finna go into captivity. That's what it was saying. Y'all finna go into captivity. All right, come on.
For thy people are as they that strive with the priest. Therefore shalt thou fall in the day, and the prophet also shall fall with thee in the night, and I will destroy thy mother.
That was verse 5.
Yeah.
So verse 5 is saying, jump to 17.
Verse 17. Ephraim is joined to idols. Let him alone.
So that's what, hold on. That's the point. Here's the split. There was no dealings with Ephraim anymore, which is the head of the northern kingdom. Read that piece again.
Ephraim is joined to idols. Let him alone.
So Judah was commanded to have no dealings with the northern kingdom. Now remember, all this happened before Christ came. To prove no dealings, which is where a lot of people get mixed up now. This is the confusion part now, because a lot of people think that we saw the woman that was a Gentile, the Samaria, the woman of Samaria. When they get the story mixed up, but the Most High had told us what to have no dealings with the northern kingdom because they were into idolatry. Let's prove that we didn't have no dealings with them. That's what happened with the woman. Let's go to John chapter 4, verse 9.
John chapter 4 and verse 9. Then said the woman of Samaria unto him, how is it that thou, being a Jew, askest drink of me?
So how come you asking of a drink of me? This is what she was saying to Christ.
Yeah.
All right, come on.
Asketh drink of me, which am a woman of Samaria. From the Jews have no dealing with the Samaritans.
Okay, see now what a lot of people say, see, the Jews have no dealing with the Samaritans. She wasn't an actual Samaritan. This lady was from the tribe of Ephraim. And she's going to prove that she was an Israelite too by who she said her father was. Watch this, read.
Jesus answered and said unto her, if thou knewest the gift of God and who it is that saith to thee, give me to drink, thou wouldst have asked of him, and he would have given thee living water. The woman said unto him, Sir, thou hast nothing to draw with, and the well is deep. From whence then hast thou that living water? Art thou greater than our father Jacob?
Hold on. So she is really a woman of Samaria. Why is she saying her father is Jacob?
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's go to Isaiah 79 real quick, because we're going to show that Samaria was the capital of Ephraim according to the scriptures.
Isaiah
chapter 7, verse 9.
All right. Isaiah chapter 7 and verse 9. And the head of Ephraim is Samaria, and the head of Samaria is Remaliah's son, if ye will not believe, surely ye shall not be established.
All right. So now, Ephraim, most of them dwelt in where? Samaria. All right.
Yeah.
So now, when you think about this, everything we done been through, I hope y'all was paying attention. I hope you was able to keep up and you understand everything we done been through. When it comes back down, we showed that the northern kingdom went into idolatry. And for that cause, God said they will no longer be his people, and he will not be their God, making them what? Gentiles. Now, we were told not to have no dealings with them. I went to Isaiah 7 and 9 to show, well, I went to John 4 and 9 to prove that they knew that we had no dealings with them. Then I went to 7 and 9 to show that the woman of Samaria, that's what Ephraim dwelled. But I also went to John 4 and 9 to show that that woman that they was calling a Samaritan was actually an Ephraimite. She was actually from the tribe, one of the 12 tribes of Israel. That's why she said her father Jacob. Okay, so now, when people speak of salvation being to the Gentiles, it shows that they don't really have a clear understanding of what they're speaking.
Yeah.
Because all of this happened before Christ came. But what was Christ's duty? What did he come for? Let's pull a scripture to show that even the Israelites, even the Israelites, they knew what one of his main purpose was to come for. Let's go to Acts chapter 1, verse 5. Let's go to Acts chapter 1, verse 5. And we're going to read down to 7.
Acts chapter 1 and verse 1. You said 1 and 5. Sorry, Acts chapter 1, verse 5. For John truly baptized with water, but ye shall be baptized with the Holy Ghost not many days hence. When they therefore were come together, they asked of him, saying, Lord, wilt thou at this time restore again the kingdom to Israel?
So if he was coming for the whole world, why he didn't say, what you talking about? I'm here for the whole world. He said, why? They said, are you coming to restore the kingdom at this time? Are you going to restore the world to Israel? Come on.
And he said unto them, it is not for you to know the times of the season, which the Father has put in his own power.
That's why when you read that one scripture, when it says, where will he go?
Yeah.
Will he go to the Gentiles, amongst the Gentiles?
Yeah, true.
And to teach them? Why? Because through Christ, salvation came to the Gentiles. What Gentiles were we talking about? Who was the people from the beginning? The northern kingdom, who was dismissed.
Yeah.
The northern kingdom. But the scriptures say, has God cast away his special people?
No.
God forbid. Right? So we understood that Christ was going to come and restore the kingdom at one point. He had to go. Let's go to let's get that real quick. Let's go to Genesis 49 and 10, because it was prophesied way beforehand.
Genesis chapter 49 and verse 10.
Start at verse 9.
Verse 9. Judah is a lion's whelp. From the prey, my son, thou art going up. He stooped down. He crouched as a lion, and as an old lion, who shall rouse him up.
All right, come on.
The sculptor shall not depart. The scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet, until Shiloh come.
Shiloh represents Christ. Peaceful. Come on.
And unto him shall the gathering of the people be.
The gathering of the people be. Gathering of who?
The 12 tribes of Israel.
Right, the ones that were scattered first. Let's get James 1 and 1 to show who was scattered. The dispersed, the scattered, same word.
James 1 and 1. James, a servant of God and of the Lord Yahushua, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad.
All right. So now, read 49 and 10 one more time in Genesis. And then we're going to close it out there, because this was basically just enough to show the split, what happened. All right. So we split. They went into idolatry. Through our hard-hitting rebellions, salvation came to the Gentiles. A lot of people think when it says salvation's come to the Gentiles, they think that because we didn't act right with Paul or whatever, all of a sudden it gave everybody salvation. No, what was the salvation that was going to come to the Gentiles was already prophesied about. That's why Christ was going to gather all the nation of Israel back together. Read verse 10 again.
Verse 10, the sculptor shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet.
That's who's the lawgiver, Christ. Come on.
Until Shiloh come.
Come on.
And until him shall the gathering of the people be.
All right, so now let's prove that with one last scripture. Let's go to Ezekiel chapter 37. Start at let's just start at verse 16 and give a clear understanding.
Ezekiel chapter 37 and verse 16. Moreover, thou son of man, take thee one stick and write on.
I want to make sure I ain't confuse them. All right. Gathering of all the nations together, the nation of Israel, the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. He was going to make them one again under Christ. So that's what that's talking about. That's what it's talking about when it says we are all one under Christ. It's not talking about the other nations as in the heathens. It was saying he was going to gather the 12 tribes back together and they were going to become one. Because why? They split, meaning they became. And this terminology that we read in Ezekiel is comparing the nations to sticks.
Yeah.
A split. You take a stick, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you split that stick, how many sticks do you have?
You got two.
Right. So now we're going to, Christ, what it's going to show you is Christ was going to take those two sticks and make them one again. All right. So let's read 37, Ezekiel 37, verse 16 through 23, and then we'll stop there.
Moreover, thou son of man, take thee one stick and write upon it for Judah and for the children of Israel, his companions. Then take another stick and write upon it for Joseph, the stick of Ephraim, and for all the house of Israel, his companions, and join them one to another into one stick.
So it's going to take the two sticks and make them one. Come on.
And they shall become one in thy hand. And when the children of thy people shall speak unto thee, saying, wilt thou not show us what thou meanest by these? Say unto them, thus saith the Lord God, behold, I will take the stick of Joseph, which is in the hand of Ephraim, and the tribes of Israel, his fellows, which will put them with him, even with the stick of Judah, and make them one stick.
And make them what?
One stick.
That's that gathering the 12 tribes all back together. Come on.
And they shall be one in my hand.
They shall be what?
One in mine hand.
So it wasn't talking about everybody being the same people. No, it was talking about the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom being put back, gathered back together as one.
And the sticks whereon thou writest shall be in thy hand before their eyes. And say unto them, thus saith the Lord God, behold, I will take the children of Israel from among the heathen, whether they be gone, and will gather them on every side and bring them into their own land. And I will make them one nation in the land upon the mountain of Israel, and one king shall be king to them all. And they shall be no more two nations.
They shall be no more what?
Two nations. Neither shall they be divided into two kingdoms any more at all. Neither shall they defile themselves any more with their idols, nor with their detestable things, nor with any of their transgressions. But I will save them out of all their dwelling places, wherein they have sinned. And
it says, save them out of all their dwelling places. Why? Because the 12 tribes was what?
It was two.
We know they were two, but after that, because they were made one.
Yeah.
But he said he would gather them out of their dwelling places. Why? Because the 12 tribes were scattered abroad.
Yeah.
All right, come on.
But I will save them out of all their dwelling places, wherein they have sinned, and will cleanse them. So shall they be my people, and I will be their God.
Hold on. He said, I will be their people, and they will. And he said, they will be my people, and I will be their God. That was it?
Yeah, that was it at 23.
Okay, so I'm gonna go somewhere real quick again. Let's go back to Hosea. We're gonna close out. I know I keep saying it, but we're gonna go to Hosea one more time. Hosea chapter 1. And read verse 10.
Hosea chapter 1 and verse 10. Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass that in the place wherein it was said unto them,
They were, come on.
ye are not my people.
Remember, he said that to them. He said the same place that it was said that ye are not my people. What should happen?
There it shall be said unto them, ye are the sons of the living God.
So they were going to be accepted again. Why? Because the Most High does not lie.
True.
All right. So with that, I hope you understand the split and the things that went on in the midst of the split, and then understand why they were considered Gentiles. And when it says that salvation came to the Gentiles, who it was truly talking about. It wasn't talking about all of a sudden all the other nations was going to be in. No, they were considered Gentiles. Why? Because at one point, the Most High said, you are no longer my people, and I don't want the Southern Kingdom to have any dealings with you until Christ comes and gathers you all back together. That's why I said Christ was a reconciliation for us to God.
Yeah.
It wasn't bringing the other nations in it.
No.
He took two kingdoms and made them one again. And that's what we see him go into performance now as this truth starts to develop. So, did I lose you here? You caught up?
Yeah, I caught it.
Okay, so
loud and clear.
Yeah, so but you all out there, if you're gonna watch the class again, make sure you pay attention because you can get lost anywhere up in here. You get lost up in here. All right. So anything you want to add to it?
Man, I hope this thing was really clear for y'all because a lot of people just don't understand, man. You have to go to the old to understand anything in the new. If you do not, then you will not know there was a split. Then you will get confused on the scripture that says there's no difference between you. You'll be confused.
Right.
So come on. And besides, Christ said, I come in the volume of the book.
Right.
So stop trying to play games, semantics, antics, and all that, and really get in here and find out what truth is.
All right. So with that, give me Matthew 26.
That was great, man. It was real. Yeah.
Glory to the Father.
Yeah, glory to the Father, man. All glory to him. Matthew chapter 26 and verse 6. Now, when Jesus was in Bethany in the house of Simon the leper, there came unto him a woman having an alabaster box of very precious ointment and poured it on his head as he sat at meat. But when his disciples saw it, they had indignation, saying, to what purpose is this waste? For this ointment might have been sold for much and given to the poor. When Jesus understood it, he said unto them, why trouble ye the woman? For she hath wrought a good work upon me. For ye have the poor always with you, but ye have not. For ye have the poor always with you, but me ye have not always. For in that she hath poured this ointment on my body, she did it for my burial. Verily I say unto you, wheresoever this gospel shall be preached in the whole world, there shall also this that this woman hath done be told for memorial of her.
So we are commanded to bring this out no matter where we are and no matter what we teach. If we bringing out the Most High's word, we are commanded to mention what this woman did with Christ, preparing him for his burial. All right. So I hope this little class was, edifying. It gave you some understanding, a little knowledge. Now we can go on with the full process of teaching every class we want to teach when it has the word Gentile in it.
Yes.
It should be clear. So glory to the Father for that.
Oh, glory.
So nothing else you want to say about it? I'm gonna close on that.
Man, please go back and watch this. Get your notepad and a pen and write down these scriptures so you will have the clear understanding of Gentile.
Right.
And if you can, get yourself a Zondervan Bible dictionary because it really get detailed with these words. So let's wake up, nation of Israel, gather ourselves together and get right, man.
Kum Yasharala.
Yeah, what he said.
Kum Yasharala. All right. So, shalom, man. Let's sip on my wine.
Y'all don't want the truth. When you give them proof, it's poof. They disappear. The word holy means separate, so designate. Thinking too much thinking makes you hesitate to be the Father's will. Then it will resonate, but it's hard to refuse from revelations to a reprobate. It's the battle we all want, time to regulate. How you gonna face the facts when it's the fact that you face the fact? The real truth was in front of you the whole time. You get hung out the strap on the devil's clothes line. Thank the Father for my mind. He never closed
So Israel rebelled against the house of David to this day.
make you bow, soaking up the word. I'm on the road like a paper cow. I was way behind. Now I'm making ground, praying to the higher will make the love will start to hate you now. Y'all crack me up, but won't break me down. To the higher.